know it.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Around the Ring, episode 271. I am your co-host, Justin Hensley, and joining me, as always, my co-host, Steve Long. Steve, how's it going?
It's going good. How you doing?
Pretty good. As we're recording this, it is the Sunday after Thanksgiving. We took a week off just because of the busyness of life, but we're back.
Yeah. Thanksgiving definitely can get in the way of plans.
Yeah, definitely had to do a lot of wrestling, crunching at the tail end of this week to get ready for the show this week.
For sure. Yeah, I didn't watch Rampage until today.
Yeah, I watched both Dynamite and Rampage last night, actually. So.
Oh wow. Yeah. No, I watched Dynamite. I think it was on it was on Friday that I watched it.
But yeah, we hopefully everyone had a nice, safe Thanksgiving and Black Friday and all that. Christmas shopping madness has now begun.
Did you do any shopping on Black Friday?
I did not. I did none.
I didn't either. I don't do the Black Friday shopping thing.
No, it's not worth it for me, really. I mean, yes, you save a couple bucks, but just dealing with the stress of crowds is
for sure.
It's not a fair trade for me.
Yeah, really.
Let's see. Today we'll have a couple news pieces up top. I'll run down a little bit of the New Japan shows that have happened recently, as well as one Ring of Honor match that I enjoyed. And we'll talk about some AEW, and we'll wrap things up with our top 5 this week, which is top 5 dream matches we'd like to see. So
yeah.
Why don't you tell people about our network we're involved with?
Oh yeah, we are a part of the Red 5 network. Good stuff if you like nerd stuff outside of wrestling. A lot of really great podcasts over there. Just go check out red5network.com, or you can check out most Red 5 podcasts on Twitter. If you go to I think their Twitter is also just Red 5 Network. You hit them up, and chances are you're going to see all of the podcast getting retweeted there as well. So yeah, we're part of that network, and very glad to be part of those folks. A lot of great people over there, as well as some fun podcasts to listen to.
Absolutely. And we're on social media as well. On Twitter, Around the Ring OK. And then my personal handle is JuiceFaceKilla, as well as Punk Lotto Pod.
And mine is Otter272 on Twitter and Instagram.
Yeah. Don't forget Rogue One Radio.
Yeah, that's my other podcast. You can find us on Twitter as well. Also part of the Red 5 Network. And that's just Rogue, the number 1 radio.
Excellent. So, it was an interesting week for news. I'd say there weren't a lot of really, really big pieces, but just like a sprinkling of interesting smaller pieces.
Yeah. One of the pieces that came across my eye was that Pro Wrestling Tees is shutting down its retail store, and they're going to be doing basically e-commerce only, which makes sense, but disappointing because I never got to visit the store up there in Chicago, and I would have liked to, but.
Yeah, same. I've never been to Chicago, but I imagine a brick and mortar is pretty expensive to upkeep in a city like Chicago. So
yeah, I can imagine.
So unfortunately, they would do things like signings at their store, and which would really cool idea. But
Yeah.
I guess focusing on the online only is a smart move.
Yeah. Yeah. Less overhead, and I'll be
Yeah.
able to maybe spend more time whipping out uh, t-shirts at a faster rate,
Yeah.
not having to deal with walk-in customers and whatnot. But
Yeah.
um, yeah, I imagine that their sales have gone really well over the past 2 years
Oh yeah.
with the emergence of AEW. And yeah, there's some really good. Like I went on there, they were having a Black Friday sale, Black Friday Cyber Monday type sale, where some of the stuff is 50% off. They've got discounts on everything,
Mm-hmm.
um, but but yeah, some of the stuff on there you can get at 50% off. I went on there looking for the DVD to All Out this for 2021, and unfortunately it was sold out, so I didn't get that.
Ah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but
DVDs had like a really good sale. They were all 50% off. This sounds
yeah,
like paid advertisement for them, I guess.
yeah,
But
well,
if they're a
uh,
good company, so I don't feel
yeah,
bad, shouting them out. So
yeah, I can support pro wrestling tees. I've bought stuff from them.
yeah,
My wife did get she got a Adam Page shirt,
nice.
so she's
There's one that I really like on there too that I've been tempted to purchase myself, but an Adam Page shirt, but
yeah.
not quite
I,
yet.
I'm thinking of getting the Lethal shirt, but
Yeah.
I didn't do it yet.
Yeah, cool.
But
Let's see. Check out my notes over here. There's a couple New Japan related news pieces.
oh yeah,
New Japan Strong announced their lineup so far for Nemesis, which is another one of their US shows.
oh
And
yeah,
it's more of an emphasis on the Strong Dojo and the wrestlers associated with them, but a handful of the actually looking at it, there's not very many Japanese wrestlers on this show, but it's still very, very tied and associated with them. So, as of right now, it looks like the main event for the show is going to be Jay White versus Christopher Daniels, which
okay,
is a really, really exciting matchup, actually. I think Jay White's doing some of the best work in his career, and uh, Christopher Daniels is, in the latter part of his career. He's been wrestling for a really long time.
yeah. Wasn't he part of SoCal?
Yes, SoCal Uncensored.
Yeah,
He hasn't really been seen much in AEW.
no, he did show up on Impact
That's right.
a while back. Um, but yeah, I haven't seen him at all on AEW.
Yeah, I think the last time we saw him was when SCU lost and had to lose or had to break up. So
Oh, okay.
not sure what that is. Maybe Daniel still is contracted. He's just not being used currently, so he's taking some outside bookings. But
Yeah,
should be a good match though.
yeah, that should be a good match.
Also on the card we have David Finlay versus Jonah. This is the former Jonah Rock, just released from NXT. What was his name there? Bronson Reed, I believe was his name there. But interestingly, in New Japan, he just goes by Jonah. He's doing like the old WWE only first name
Yeah,
thing.
yeah,
I assume it's a licensing thing for some reason, but
probably.
there's a couple other matches on here. A lot of people I don't really recognize, but the biggest piece of news I think is Eddie Kingston is set to make an appearance. He is supposed to have a match there, but his opponent is actually TBA. So
Hmm.
I'm real curious what that's going to be. I'm wondering if someone from Japan is going to come over and they just haven't finalized it yet, unless they've got another secret signing that we haven't heard about yet. But
Yeah, maybe they're just wanting to keep it a secret.
Yeah, that could be one of those matches that you don't know his opponent until they come out the curtain. So
Yeah.
exciting though. Eddie Kingston's doing some really, really fun stuff right now. So
Yeah,
which will
he's doing some good work in AEW, and be interested to see what he's going to be doing over there in Strong.
Mm-hmm. Other New Japan related news: Kenta is actually going to be taking part in a Noah show at
Oh yeah,
Budokan Hall in January 1st. So this will actually be before Wrestle Kingdom, and will be before the New Japan and Noah crossover Super Show that's going to happen on January 8th, which will be the third night of Wrestle Kingdom. I don't. Go ahead.
yeah. I saw something about that, and I actually thought it was just a rumor, but wow, that's going to be interesting. Back in Noah.
Yeah, I mean, I assume this is just kind of a little, do a little for me, we'll do a little for you, because
Yeah.
it is technically a New Japan show it's a Wrestle Kingdom show that's happening and that Noah's taking part of. So
Okay.
it's only fair, I think, for them to allow some New Japan talent to make appearances on a Noah booked
Yeah.
show, which is exciting because a lot of interestingly, if you listen to a lot of like the diehard Japanese wrestling fans who watch outside of New Japan, Noah is probably one of the most exciting companies currently running in Japan. So
Really?
yeah, supposedly they have a really great roster and have put on a lot of really good matches in this year. So I'm excited to see some of that talent in the New Japan show. And
Yeah. Yeah, that'll be a lot of fun. Yeah. What else we got?
It's just a couple other small things. AAA has announced their main event for the upcoming Triple Mania show. It is, I believe it is called Triple Mania Regia. And so this match will be for the AAA Mega Championship that Kenny Omega just vacated this week due to his upcoming surgeries
Right.
and being unable to take part in his match that he was scheduled for. So it's going to be a match for the vacant title, and the match will include Bandito of currently Ring of Honor, soon to be released once that's done.
Yeah.
He's actually I believe he's the Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Champion currently. And also in the match will be El Hijo del Vikingo, who was going to be Kenny Omega's opponent. Samurai del Sol, the former Kalisto. Jay Lethal, and Bobby Fish. So
Oh wow.
it's a pretty
Yeah.
cool match there.
I had not heard about the inclusion of Bobby Fish in that one.
And actually, if you look at the full card, we don't have the full card yet, but there have been 3 other matches announced as well. One of them features Cain Velasquez in a 6-man tag match. We have FTR is defending the AAA Tag Team Championship against the Lucha Brothers. And Dragon Lee and Dralistico will face Laredo Kid and a mystery partner. So that show's stacking up to be a pretty cool little lineup there.
What is what's the time frame for that show?
That should be occurring. Let's see if I have a date for that one. December 4th. So actually it's coming up next week, this coming weekend.
Okay.
So
well, we'll have to make sure we check that guy's Twitter so we can find the link.
And actually, according to the rest, the Observer, Fight TV will be carrying the show as well. So I should have a little bit easy access for US viewers.
Yeah, maybe I'll just check it out there.
Yeah.
I'm assuming it's a pay-per-view.
Yeah, it's essentially a pay-per-view.
Okay. So
yeah.
Cool.
In
So
other kind of AEW related news, Jim Ross will be taking some time off from AEW due to his skin cancer treatments that are coming up. So he was recently diagnosed with skin cancer and will begin his radiation very soon. And his scheduled return date should be December 29th. So we wish him well. Hopefully everything
yeah,
will go smoothly and we'll be
hoping him. Yeah, definitely hoping him the best. Uh, that cancer's no funny business.
yeah. And Johnny Gargano's WWE contract is reportedly expiring December 10th. We talked about this briefly right
Yeah,
before.
right before we went on air, I don't think he's going to leave WWE. Um,
Yeah, at this rate, I don't see him leaving yet. I don't think he's been given reason to leave yet.
yeah,
They've
and
handled him well.
and it doesn't seem like he is one of the, at least as far as I can tell, he doesn't seem like one of the disgruntled,
Mm-hmm.
you know, members of their roster. Uh, he's
Yeah,
probably he's probably a diehard, like uh, I mean, there aren't very many of those, so
yeah. The only thing that concerns me is the Bruce Pritchards and Vince McMahon's of WWE, deciding to let him go after he
now.
re-signs a contract.
That being said, if they screw the pooch and don't re-sign him, um, could you? I mean, it would be really cool to see him in a match again with Adam Cole.
Yeah, that seems like the most logical place he would go. Unless he want to do something like a stint in New Japan, but
Possibly,
um, I think he's got a baby on the way with Candice LeRae, and she's
yeah.
still under contract. So there's a good chance he'll probably resign and
He'll
they'll just
probably
stay.
resign, but if he didn't, I mean, he options are getting kind of low now.
Yeah.
You've got, you've either got AEW or you've got Impact here
Hmm.
in the States. I mean, I guess MLW, but that's,
But
um,
yeah, even they've downscaled a little bit
yeah.
recently.
So, I mean, New Japan would be actually, I mean, it would be a good spot for him. But like you said, I think AEW is the most logical choice.
Hmm.
Uh, I don't I don't really see anything that they could do with him in Impact.
Yeah, they don't. It's interesting. Yeah, unless he was like in the X division or something along those lines.
Yeah, yeah,
It's it's
um,
it's tough. Impact is an interesting company that
yeah, it is.
they still chug along.
But yeah, I would really, I think it'd be great to see him with, have another feud with Adam Cole.
He's supposed to take part in the upcoming NXT War Games alongside Tommaso Ciampa, Pete Dunne, and LA Knight, and they will be facing Braun Breaker, Carmelo Hayes, Grayson Waller, and Tony D'Angelo. So it's definitely the old NXT versus the new NXT. So
Yeah, yeah. LA Knight. That's oh man, what was his name in NWA? Uh,
Eli Drake.
yeah.
Yeah. Curious. I guess how that match goes will also kind of depend. Will kind of give us an idea where what might be happening. So,
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, since that's a contract expiring, he'd be eligible to appear like the next day. So
Yeah,
we could have another Adam Cole situation.
we could. Um, so you said his contract expires what date?
December 10th. So it'll be the week after the War Games match.
So theoretically, he could show up at Winter is Coming.
Is that the 15th show?
Yes.
Yeah. So he could very easily show up.
Which is the show that I will be at.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just saw the AEW announce the Battle of the Belts will be happening in Greensboro. No, Raleigh, I believe. Raleigh, I believe.
Right. Yeah.
But it's a Saturday, which is unfortunate because I work Saturdays, and I don't know. Maybe I could try and get out of work and get it, but I don't know.
Just ask for a day off. Yeah. No. I mean, we had decided to go to that show because it's in Dallas. I mean, it's in the Dallas area. Before we even knew that it was going to be a big event. I mean, it's not a pay-per-view, but it's it's Winter is Coming. It's one of their bigger Dynamite events.
So they've actually got a quite a few coming up too.
Yeah,
there's the Winter's Coming, and then there's going to be the TBS debut, and then the Battle of the Belts. So
they got a lot of stuff going on. And then Revolution is when? That's March, I think.
I don't know that they've actually set a date for it yet. I think that's one of the few. It's either going to be the end of February or the beginning of March. But I could double check that.
So, I mean, that brings up an interesting question, but we can get into that when we talk about AEW later in the show.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. And the last little bit of news was just a little Ring of Honor Final Battle update. They announced some of the matches that will be taking place. It looks like the main event will be the ROH World Champion Bandito defending against Jonathan Gresham. We have the ROH Women's Championship match with Roxy defending against Willow Nightingale or Mandy Leon, depending on who wins their number one contender match. We'll have the Tag Team Championships with the OGK, which is Matt Taven and Mike Bennett defending against the Briscoes. And we have the ROH Pure Champion Josh Woods defending against Brian Johnson.
So what's going to happen to these belts after Final Battle? Because are all of these folks going to retain and possibly come back? Or
yeah, I don't know. It's such a question mark for what's going to happen with Ring of Honor. If you look at who's in all of these matches, it's kind of a collection of Ring of Honor's history, basically.
Yeah.
The faithful who stayed with them throughout the last couple of years with your Greshams and Banditos, your new women's champion Roxy that they put a lot of faith in. Taven and Mike Bennett have a very long history, as well. The Briscoes have a very long history of the Ring of Honor.
For sure, yeah.
Kenny King's there.
But no Jay Lethal. Jay Lethal.
No, see, he was the odd one. He chose to go ahead and dip out early. I don't know.
Yeah. See, that was kind of surprising because he was an ROH mainstay for a long time.
Yeah. Very interesting. I guess we'll have to see what comes with Ring of Honor because no one really knows, seems like.
Yeah.
But you want to get into some wrestling?
Yeah. Did you want to talk about some of the New Japan stuff that you got to see?
Yeah.
I actually did not watch any New Japan this week, and I just it's just like you said earlier in the show, life gets in the way and just too much going on. I barely got a chance to watch AEW.
Yeah, so the New Japan that I have watched is basically me just looking at the full cards and just picking the matches that look the most interesting to me. So
yeah,
I didn't watch any full shows. I just pulled out the ones that look best. So we're currently in the midst of the Best of the Super Juniors tournament as well as the World Tag League tournament. I watched a couple matches from a few of these shows.
Yeah.
So I'll go all the way back to night 2, where I watched Hiromu Takahashi versus Sho. Sho won this match. This was a very fast-paced match. Like all Hiromu's matches, he just does these hard and he just moves incredibly fast in the
Mhm.
ring. And so everything he does is given that extra dose of momentum whenever he hits an opponent. So the story of the match was kind of been the story of a lot of Hiromu's matches this tournament. Show focused on Hiromu's arm. There was a fun series of German suplexes. Hiromu took a nasty pile driver, which I always shudder whenever he takes those because he recently he had a broken neck that put him out of
Oh.
action for a while there.
Oh wow.
Uh, this was a typical Bullet Club interference match. The House of Torture got involved, which helped Show get the win. But interestingly, I don't know how likely this is to happen, but it did seem like we could see Evil maybe facing off with Hiromu.
Hmm.
Not 100% sure. They are in different weight classes, so I don't know if we'll actually see that match, but it'd be interesting.
Did Yo get involved with it at all?
That one I don't believe he did because he's been wrestling in the tournament as well.
Right.
And I believe Sho and Yo have a match closer to the end of the tournament, so I think that's where we're going to see that blow up.
That's one of them I'm looking forward to.
Yeah. That same night, I also watched the El Desperado versus the Taiji Ishimori match. Not a whole lot to say about that one, other than it was just a good, hard-hitting match. Ishimori pinned El Desperado, which, if you pay attention, El Desperado is the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion, and whenever the champion gets pinned, whoever does the pinning usually gets a title shot. So
Yeah.
Ishimori will probably have a title shot even if he does not win the tournament. And then the only other Best of Super Juniors match I watched was actually Taiji Ishimori versus Hiromu Takahashi on day 6.
Okay.
This match was 25 minutes long. The day 5 match the day 4 match with Hiromu Takahashi versus El Desperado actually went to a time limit draw, like a 30-minute time limit draw. So it seemed like this match was heading that way too when they're getting to the 25-minute mark. Taiji Ishimori did actually win this match, which kind of adds to their feud. They've been fighting on and off since 2020. Ishimori is the one who defeated Hiromu for the Junior Heavyweight Championship in 2020. Hiromu won it back at Wrestle Kingdom from him, but then lost it pretty quickly to I believe it was Sho and New Beginning this year. So kind of back and forth there. It's one of those feuds though that just keeps going in New Japan, and
Yeah.
these two guys they always bring it. They bring the best out of each other, I think. So there's still quite a few shows left in that tournament as well.
Did you watch any of the World Tag League stuff?
I did. I mainly only watched. I watched 2 matches. So the first one is from day 1 of that tournament, and it was Suzuki-gun, Minoru Suzuki, and Taka Michinoku. I said that backwards. Against the Dangerous Techers. So that's Zack Sabre Jr. and Taichi. So this was Suzuki-gun versus Suzuki-gun. How familiar are you with Taka Michinoku's controversy in Japan?
Not at all.
Okay, so after he left the WWE like a long time ago, early 2000s, he went back to Japan, became part of something called the Kaientai Dojo. He's like one of the main people in that wrestling promotion in Japan.
Uh-huh.
And then he was involved in Noah, which is, I believe, is where he joined Suzuki-gun. And then when Suzuki-gun came to New Japan, he went over with them. Then it turned out that Taka Michinoku had been he's married and had been cheating on his wife with another woman for multiple years. Like, it was a very long affair.
Oh, wow.
And so it was a very public sort of embarrassment for him. And he was actually either he left or was forced to leave the Kai Tai dojo. And then New Japan kept him under contract, but he basically wasn't on TV for a very long time. He didn't show up in anything for quite a while.
Yeah.
So this match kind of played into the, like, everyone knows what Taka did. And so Zack Sabre Jr. and Tai Chi were going to kind of, take it out on Taka.
Okay.
Basically, they both just beat him up the whole match. And Suzuki got in there because Suzuki tried to wrestle against these guys, but they're at the top of their game currently, and they are part of the same faction. So
Yeah.
there is a little bit of look, this is our we are technically a group and we're friends. I don't know how that relationship works with
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
group.
Yeah. Yeah.
But by the end of the match, they just basically beat Taka up the whole match. And then even at the very end of the match, Suzuki basically was like, all right, are you going to let him back in now into Suzuki-gun? And they finally agreed and they allowed him back in, but he had to take a beating to be allowed back in.
I may have to check out that match. That sounds like a lot of fun.
It's a very interesting match, especially knowing that, I guess culturally that is kind of a big deal. It's a big deal here, but at the same time, people don't tend to lose their jobs over that kind of thing. So
Right.
it's taken a little bit more serious there. But yeah, very interesting.
Wow.
And then I did watch the day 2 match, which was also Taka Michinoku and Minoru Suzuki versus Los Ingobernables, which this was Tetsuya Naito and Sanada. I mainly watched this just to see how smoothly Naito is moving after his injury.
Yeah.
And he did not look he looked great. Like he looked like the rest that he had really helped, because he was moving a little quicker than I'd seen him moving in the last, year or two.
Yeah.
So he's looking pretty good. I don't know what their plans are for him going into Wrestle Kingdom. As of right now, he doesn't really have a clear path to anything. So we'll see what comes out.
Maybe they're just seeing how he's doing in this tournament and hopefully not trying to put him through the ringer, so to speak.
Yeah.
And just taking it slow for him, I guess.
Yeah. Hopefully that's just, he needed a little rest. He didn't need the surgery after the injury, so
that's good.
That's a good sign. But
I mean, the fact that he was moving well at that match is a good sign, though. So
yeah. And the only other thing I watched that was not AEW related was I watched Dragon Lee versus Dalton Castle from Ring of Honor's television show.
Wasn't that was that Saturday night?
It was like the 22nd is the release date.
Okay.
So I don't know when they were actually filmed it. It's from their TV tapings they did. It was like the last round of TV tapings going into Final Battle.
I ask because I was doing a show. My band was doing a show in Tulsa on Saturday, but that was let me look at my calendar here. That was the 20th.
Mm-hmm.
But I was looking over. They had a TV off in a corner, and I saw ROH playing, and I remember seeing Dalton Castle.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't notice if it was Dragon Lee or somebody else. So I was busy doing my thing. I'm trying to get my get our stage gear on, or get our gear up on stage and stuff, and didn't, and then they turned it off as soon as the we started playing. But
Yeah,
yeah, I was like, what is
it
this?
could have been.
I don't know.
It could have been. They could have also, uploaded it later. I don't know the exact. Yeah, it's a syndicated show, so it kind of airs at different times
Yeah, yeah,
around the country. The match was good, but it definitely highlighted some of the problems the Ring of Honor had. It was an empty arena show first, which is at this point in 2021, I don't know how much more empty arena stuff I can watch.
yeah, because you don't have to.
Right, because AEW is back to crowds, WWE is back to crowds. New Japan has had crowds, even though they're not allowed to cheer, they're still there allowed to
Are
clap.
they still not allowed to cheer?
Yeah, still not allowed to cheer. Impact, do they have crowds? I think the TV show doesn't have crowds, right?
I don't think so. It's been several weeks since I've caught an Impact show.
Yeah, I mean the reason why I bring it up is because those empty arena shows just, I don't know, they are really hard to watch now.
They really are. Yeah, yeah.
And the only other issue I really had is Ring of Honor still looks like Ring of Honor. They basically haven't done much to make that show look different in years.
Yeah,
So like all the
it's
it just feels
disappointing.
dated,
Yeah, yeah.
And then even the commentary was weird and silly and not serious enough for a championship match like this was. And yeah, I was a little underwhelmed by the presentation, knowing that, they are about to end, that there wasn't anything super different.
As a wrestler, it's probably very difficult to get enjoyment out of those matches as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Considering,
because you
yeah,
don't get the instant reaction, It
yeah,
adds something.
yeah. But so having no crowds, on top of the fact that the company is about to more or less fold,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it, and it's like, okay, are they just phoning it in, or are they, but part of you would want to just phone it in, but another part of you would be like, no, I want to look really good, so somebody else will sign me.
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
if that's the route that you're wanting to go, but yeah,
I'll watch Final Battle, just because I want to see, if they do anything special, for a send off. So
yeah.
let's talk some Dynamite.
Let's do that. Yes. So Dynamite started off with a really fun back and forth between MJF and CM Punk.
Yeah, my dream scenario came true.
Yeah, yeah. So it looks like they're gonna. I'm like you had mentioned, I really hope that they uh, kind of do the slow burn on this one,
Mm-hmm.
because I really want to see more of these promos. This very first one was good. I love the I loved the comment that CM Punk made about MJF getting replaced by Britt Baker.
Yeah, as the 4 pillars.
Yeah, yeah, and then of course it ended with CM Punk wanting to get physical, and MJF kind of running away like the coward he is.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I thought this was a very good start to this feud.
Yeah, I thought this promo segment was incredible. Like this
Yeah.
is the best way it could have possibly started.
Yeah, great way to kick off the show. Uh, good time to kick off the show, because I really think that the very first match would not have been a great way to kick off the
Yeah.
show.
Yeah.
I mean, even though CM Punk was in it,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it was something that really would have got people excited. I mean, I for one, even though it was CM Punk, was not really excited about that first match. But
Yeah. When that was announced, it was like, really? That's the match we're going with? I think we all assumed MJF was going to have something to do with it.
yeah, I really thought, yeah, I thought so too. And then, but yeah, so the promo back and forth, I think it was a great way to kick off think the pre-Thanksgiving
Yeah.
Dynamite show. Um, were there any matches on the show specifically that you wanted to kind of highlight?
I feel like this was a show that was mostly I don't know, there were probably 3 really good matches.
I thought I'm not going to talk about the CM Punk match because
Right.
there really wasn't anything about
Nah.
it worth talking about. Um, I'm not really a huge fan of QT Marshall. He doesn't do anything for me.
No.
The first match of the night that I think was really interesting and kept me kind of engaged was the quarterfinal match between Thunder Rosa and Jamie Hayter.
Yeah, that match was great. I feel like it was probably Jamie Hayter's best match to date
Yeah,
in AEW.
I thought it was great, and I really thought that the way it ended was going to be the beginning of what I've been saying all along, and saying that Jamie Hayter is going to turn on Britt Baker. Not so sure that's going to happen now, though. But it seemed like it was. It seemed like the way it ended, that's the way it was going to go. But the match itself, I thought was a really good match.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of. It seemed like the crowd was really divided on that match as far as who they were cheering for.
Yeah, Jamie got a really good reaction from
Yeah,
the crowd. Probably better than I would have anticipated, really,
yeah,
because she's really good, and I thought that she's been good the whole time she's been there, but
yeah,
almost kind of overshadowed by Britt Baker.
for sure. Yeah, but I mean, I'm a little. I like Jamie Hayter, and I like. I really am interested in what they're going to do with her down the road. But in this particular instance, I'm a Thunder Rosa fan, so I was
Oh yeah,
cheering for her. I actually did not. I actually thought she was going to lose.
I did too. I thought this was going to set up the eventual Thunder Rosa Britt Baker rematch,
Yeah,
which
but
it still has that potential, of
it
course.
could, depending on how her next match goes. But it looks like they've already got. Well, we'll talk about that when we talk about Rampage. But as far as Britt's next title opponent,
Yeah.
but yeah, the Jamie Hayter and Thunder Rosa match was really good. We had a match, Brian Danielson versus Colt Cabana.
This was a good one too.
Yeah, it was good. It was. I don't think it was one of. I don't think it was one of Danielson's best. But this is kind of. It seems like this is the first iteration that we're getting of heel Brian Danielson. Because they tried to make it, in last week they tried to make him look like a heel, but he didn't really look like a heel all
You
that
didn't think
much.
so?
I,
I
I
thought.
didn't I didn't think so. Not last week. In this match, he did.
Hmm. It's funny. Yeah, we didn't actually talk about last week's episode, so I guess we're just now getting each other's reactions.
Yeah.
I thought last week's heel turn was kind of a perfect way to have him become a heel, but not change his actions
Yeah.
or motive. Like
Yeah.
this is still the same guy who, when he came in, said he wanted to kick everybody's
I
head
mean,
in.
yeah, I could see the kind of the heel slant there,
Mm-hmm.
but this one seemed more more prominent, especially when he kind of started talking to the crowd
Oh yeah,
and
I mean he brought back
calling
the
them,
old fickle.
yeah, calling them fickle, and yeah, and just talking about how they turned on him.
Yeah, his heel run in the WWE I thought was actually really good. Whenever he was the eco-friendly world champion with that wooden belt and the hemp strap, I
Yeah,
loved that.
I think I may have not been watching WWE by then,
Yeah.
possibly. Um, but yeah, the match itself was it. It was nothing spectacular, but it was a solid match. Uh, because I mean, really, Colt Cabana is a good, solid wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
Wrestler. He's not. There's nothing like extraordinary about him or fancy,
Mm-hmm.
but he's just a good, solid working wrestler, and he's really fun to watch.
And he was in the home, it was the home crowd. He's from Chicago.
Yeah, yeah,
There's the spot where his teeth got knocked out, which is I want to know how that
yeah,
worked.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
That was a little extreme. But after the match, Adam Page comes out and he's like, "All right, let's fight." And
Oh yeah, yeah,
and then he did the heelish tactic of, oh, "I just wrestled a match. I can't wrestle again." So
yeah, yeah.
I don't know when this match is going to happen. I wonder. They're in Atlanta next week, and he said he wants to take on a couple of the Dark Order members who are from Atlanta. So
Yeah, next week I think he's taking on. I think he's taking on 10.
okay, I
Well,
think
no,
I think he's gonna just dismantle the entire Dark Order. I think he's gonna win every single match
yeah.
against the Dark
You know
Order.
what? Let me look that up because I'm not. I could be wrong about that. Maybe it was Angel that he's taken on.
Yeah, it could be Alan Angels because when Kenny Omega had his match with him, it was in those Georgia tapings that they were doing at the very beginning of the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
So he's probably the one who's from Georgia. I'm not sure where John Silver and
It's Allen Angels.
okay, yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They've actually announced some of the matches for next Dynamite. Um, Gun Club versus Sting and Darby Allin, Brian Danielson and Allen Angels. Uh, the next quarterfinals match for the TBS Championship between Ruby Soho and Chris Statlander, and an Atlanta street fight between Cody and Andrade El Idolo, which brings us
yeah,
to the main event for Dynamite, which, at least for me, was the match of the night.
yeah.
Uh,
I agree.
we had Cody Rhodes and Death Triangle
Mm-hmm.
versus FTR, Malachi Black, and Andrade El Idolo. Uh, man, this match was amazing. Uh,
This was
I,
better than the Full Gear tag match
oh yeah,
by
yeah,
a
for
lot.
sure, for sure. Um, it really, man, everybody was playing on their strengths,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and I mean, Phoenix and Phoenix and Penta,
Mm-hmm.
man, they were really on their game that night, and Andrade had some pretty awesome spots. I mean, just I mean, it was just an awesome match, and we had the almost fight between Arn and Tully
Yeah.
until Jose decided to get involved, and then Arn took him out. Uh, but we got the return of the Mist.
Yeah.
Um,
The
man, it was
all the
just
Cody antics in this match were something
Yeah.
else.
Yeah.
He threw the belt into the crowd, and then the crowd threw it back.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which you have to think they expected to happen, because like they know that the crowd is not happy with Cody, and so
However, did you not notice that the crowd was actually popping for him when he came out?
yeah,
I didn't hear
he
a lot of boos.
when he first came out,
Yeah.
it was a mixture. I heard some boos in there, but I think it was more of when he was in the ring that you really heard the boos
Yeah.
for him.
Yeah.
Um, he I think the crowd wants to like him. I think they just want him to go full heel. They want him to, and it's so funny. The second he does go full heel, then they'll start cheering him again. It's just how
Yeah.
fickle the wrestling audiences are. Yeah, and then yeah, they threw the belt back, and then Andrade. I think Andrade was annoyed with that and actually grabbed, because he went and grabbed the belt and then threw it under the ring. The way he did that, it seemed like he didn't want the belt to be a distraction from the actual match. But
Yeah.
then somehow the belt came out again, and then
Oh, right. Right.
it got thrown back in the ring, and then he threw it back out again. It was just a weird like
Yeah.
back and forth.
Um, this is going to be, I think the feud between several of these folks are going to go on for a while. I mean, you've got, uh, with Pac getting, he had the feud going on with Andrade, but I think this one is kind of giving us the precursors of a feud with Malachi Black. I don't know. I just see a lot of there's so many pieces on this one that you could do inter rivalry feuds with, and I think this feud between these 8 people are going to keep us going for a while.
Do you think this is going to lead to a blood and guts match?
Mm,
It's got a very War Games feel to it.
good.
I mean, when was the last one we had? Was that an
Uh,
Inner Circle match? It was the Inner Circle. Ooh, who was it against?
let's see.
We've had 2 of them. The first one was the Elite with Matt
I
Hardy.
think it was the Pinnacle and the Inner Circle.
That's what it was. Was that this year?
Yeah,
That
that was back in May.
yeah. I mean, it might be too soon for another Blood and Guts, but I could see them doing one. Maybe add one more person to each side of this feud. I don't know. I wonder if that's where we're going with this.
Yeah,
There needs to be a direction, I do think, though, because it's just gone on for so long at this point that like we need to have kind of like an insight in mind.
yeah, yeah,
Hopefully, it means Malachi Black moving away from Cody and maybe
yeah.
focusing on Pac. Or
That's what I'm hoping. That's what I'm hoping. And then Andrade with Cody. I'll see how that fares
yeah,
for a while.
FTR's involvement in there is still really weird because they're still Pinnacle, but then they're also like
Yeah,
being rented out to
yeah,
Andrade. Interesting. But yeah, it was probably my favorite match of the night as well. Just a lot of fun.
for sure. And then Rampage, we got Rampage on Friday night. Like I said, I did not watch it actually until earlier today. There were some pretty decent matches on there. Really, only I'd say there was at least 2 worth mentioning. I mean, the tag match between Best Friends and uh, Adam Cole and Bobby Fish, that was a decent match. A lot of fun to watch. What do you think of that match?
Yeah, it was a good match. I mean, I get a lot. I get a kick out of any Orange Cassidy match.
Same here. Yeah, I like to watch him. I loved I loved how he kept trying to do the hands in his pockets and he kept
Yeah,
getting thwarted. That was a lot of fun.
I have brought this up last time we spoke, but is this still your best use of Adam Cole? And
No,
I don't
I
think it is.
I don't think it is. I mean, I might be in the minority here, but I would still rather see him in singles matches
Mm-hmm.
than tag team. Not to say his tag team matches aren't amazing. I just, for me, I would rather see him one on one with somebody.
The only thing I can think of is that this is going to lead to some dissension in the. I mean, we already have the seeds of it with Adam Cole and Kenny Omega between Adam Cole and the Bucks. So like him
Yeah.
teaming with Bobby Fish, it reunites him with his undisputed partner. So there's a there's a possibility that I wonder too.
See, yeah, yeah, that's a good point you're bringing up there, and it may not be the point you're actually trying to make, but I wonder if they did not know they were going to sign Bobby Fish when Adam Cole first appeared,
Mm-hmm.
and they're like, "Well, let's put him back with the Elite, and with the Young Bucks, and relive that, relive the Elite tag team or faction, whatever."
Yeah.
And at the time, they did not know Bobby Fish was going to be a player in the promotion, and now they're kind of, I don't know, playing a little bit of backup and going, let's see if we can't get this faction instead.
You know, I also considered this too. Um, we know Kyle O'Reilly's contract ends soon too,
That is true.
and they are friends. So there is a possibility that they've been talking to Kyle, and Kyle's already made a decision, but just hasn't told anyone yet.
That's a possibility too. There is yet another option, depending on timing. When does Kevin's contract expire?
Oh, don't they say it's like right after New Year's, I believe. He
That's
made
what
some
I've.
comment about being like 3 months or 3 years, and the 3 months was a definitely reference to his contract ending, and that's probably a month ago, almost a month ago. He
Yeah.
said that, so
So that's another option.
yeah. Gosh,
If they were to sign, there's so much that AEW could do right now, and I really think that no matter which way they go, they're going to make fans happy.
you have to think there's a bidding war or close to a bidding war going on for guys like Kyle O'Reilly and Kevin Owens.
Yeah,
So God, I don't want to fantasy book this and like get my hopes up for something that might not happen.
sure. Um,
But it's interesting to think about.
man, that just gave me another idea for a dream match that's not on my list. I'll put it as an honorable mention.
Okay.
uh, man,
Man, now I'm
let me look at my five. Now I'm starting to wonder if where's my five. Let's see.
uh
Huh.
while you're doing that, I'll mention that Tony Nese has challenged Sammy Guevara to the TNT Championship.
That's yeah. I was going to mention that. That was just kind of yeah. It came out of. I mean, it didn't really come out of nowhere, but yeah, it kind of came out of nowhere. This is the second time that he will have defended his championship against somebody who's wrestling on the promotion for the first time.
Actually, that's not true. Tony Nese has wrestled on
Oh,
Dark a couple
that's right.
times.
He did
Yeah,
wrestle in a dark match. Okay,
but
my
I
bad.
don't think he's assigned. I don't know that he's signed to a contract or anything. It could be one of those kind of one-off deals that they've done those in the past, especially in the TNT tournament
Well,
stuff. Like,
are you sure he hasn't signed?
I mean, I could be wrong, and
I,
he did sign, and I just
I thought
missed
he,
that.
I thought he did.
I mean,
Um, hmm.
I don't know if it was. Yeah, he's. I don't.
Let's
Yeah,
see.
according to October 28th, he signed a
Yeah,
daily DT. He signed a
yeah, he
contract.
signed to AEW. Yeah.
Weird.
I mean, to be honest, I don't care about him.
Yeah.
I don't hate him. I don't think he's bad at what he does. He's just not one of those wrestlers that really has me excited that they're in AEW.
Yeah. He's one of those wrestlers that he's good,
Yeah,
but he's kind of just been the same character for years now. And this version doesn't look any different.
yeah. It's just I don't know. I can't hype myself into this match.
No.
Like especially I mean not anywhere near as hyped as I was for his last title match.
Yeah. The
Which was like just what a week ago. That actually we didn't get to talk about that one either.
Oh yeah, the Jay Lethal match.
Man, that was a great match. I'll just say it. That was a great match. He lost, but I don't care. It was a great match.
It was a good match. Yeah.
I love his move set,
Yeah.
and seeing it against Sammy it was a lot of fun to watch. Loved that match. That was probably my match of the week last week. Just I don't know. I just liked it that much. But yeah, so we got Tony Nese and that'll be what next Dynamite or next Rampage, I think.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't think I saw the date for that one, but yeah,
because I think
it's soon, regardless.
Because I think that belt is generally defended on Rampage as opposed to Dynamite.
Yeah, it could very well, might be.
Yeah.
There was also Riho versus Dr. Britt Baker. If Riho wins the match, she gets an automatic shot at Britt Baker's AEW Women's Championship match. Doesn't it seem like Britt Baker has taken a back seat to the TBS Women's Championship tournament?
I think she has, which is kind of odd because she's kind of one of the big draws right now.
Yeah, she's one of the biggest stars in the division. And I guess they've been giving her these little feuds to get her on the TV so she's present. We don't forget about her. She gets lots of, microphone time. She's always got backstage segments. She had that Friendsgiving thing this week, as well as, appearing in ringside for Jamie Hayter. So they definitely want you to remember she's there the whole time. And she's been commenting on the TBS tournament the entire time as well. But at the same time, her matchups haven't been that exciting.
I would agree with that. And I would include this match in that list.
Yeah,
I wasn't really excited about this match. Watching it, I was not excited. It was decent. I mean, it wasn't a bad match. It just wasn't. It didn't get me excited.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I guess it's just to give Britt another opponent.
Yeah, and so now that she's got her next opponent or she's got her opponent for her next title defense.
Yeah, which I bet will be Winners Coming.
Yeah, and I mean, we already saw the match. Why do we have to watch it again? I don't know.
Yeah, that one felt a little WWE. usually that's, oh, the champion lost a match, and now that's why the other person gets a title shot. Now, it's
Yeah. I just feel like, yeah, I don't want to I don't want to watch that match again because it wasn't all that interesting the first time.
yeah. I mean, unless they were
But
saving it up. I mean, maybe they knew the outcome, obviously, so maybe they're like, okay, we'll do a quick one, and then we'll
yeah,
do a better one later.
well,
I've not really ever.
they were
Sorry.
probably trying to make it quick so they could get on to the main event.
Which was fantastic.
It was it not? Oh my gosh, that was so great. Uh, I just I really like watching him work, and we're talking about Eddie, not Daniel.
Yeah, Eddie Kingston versus Daniel Garcia. This has just been like a little kind of mini feud to kind of keep Eddie, in our minds, and to get him some wins back since he's lost the last couple feuds he's been involved in.
Yeah, but that
Um,
was, oh man, that was an amazing match, and it was kind of it was a little brutal
yeah,
on old Eddie, man. He was having a rough time with that knee. Uh, and Daniel, man, he was, uh, I mean, just like almost like a pro, man. He was capitalizing on that.
yeah,
However, for the longest time, neither one of them were capitalizing on their big spots.
yeah,
They would do like these just massive moves and then just kind of like wander away. Now in Eddie's defense, he was selling it pretty well
yeah,
because he would make those moves and then he'd bounce away because his knee was hurting.
yeah.
Uh, but yeah, this was a really good match, really brutal, and I was really happy. I was really happy to see Eddie get a win.
Yeah, it's so. I love what is happening with Eddie Kingston in AEW because when he first appeared, it was exciting. He
Yeah,
did the TNT challenge with Cody Rhodes. He impressed so much that he got a contract, and then he was a heel for the whole time. And the Death Triangle stuff was all right, but it wasn't the best. The best, really. It
I mean,
wasn't until the Moxley connection, I think, that
yeah,
he really unlocked it.
it seems like he's gotten more interesting in this promotion, like in the last 6 or 7 months.
Yeah. And then, he does things like have really, really good matches. And then, that Players Tribune article that was phenomenal. Like,
Yeah,
he has, he made the deathmatch botch at the end. He sold it so well on the Dynamite after.
yeah,
So, I don't know. Like, this guy is having, like, probably the most exciting,
he's
period
having
in
a
his
great
career.
year, man. Here he is. He's going to be in the New Japan thing
Yeah.
coming up. Man, he's having a great year, and oh, and the end of that match, man, when they started beating on him, and then
Yeah.
Chris Jericho got involved. I mean, he's back there
Yeah.
doing the commentary thing, and then it's like all of a sudden he's up there and ready to trade blows with 2.0.
Yeah.
Uh, who I mean, he would have. He's probably going to have some sort of feud with them anyway because they interrupted him, as he so eloquently put his everything he says is gold. You remember that part of the commentary?
Yeah.
uh, but yeah, I was interesting to see that Jericho kind of got involved in defending him.
Yeah, it's kind of an odd spot for Jericho, but
Yeah,
I think it'll work. There'll probably be a tag match. It'll probably be Eddie and Jericho versus 2.0 soon.
yeah, I'm ready for that one.
I have heard that Fozzie's about to go on tour, so we may not get as
Ooh.
much Jericho coming up soon, and this may be his last little like thing he does.
I wonder if that match is going to be at Winter's Coming.
Yeah, not sure. Could be.
Don't know.
or
Yeah,
Jericho versus Daniel Garcia, maybe leading up to it, something along those lines.
maybe.
We'll see.
Yeah, we will see. So we had a pretty decent little rampage
Mhm.
and a good solid dynamite, and yeah, I think that was that was the main event. So that was the last match of the night.
Yep.
Um, so I guess we have dream matches to talk about,
Yeah.
and I am going to I'm going to change one of mine
Okay.
because I thought of.
Yeah, this is an idea that I came up with last week, and we were like, "Did we decide on a topic?" And
Yeah,
then I threw this out there, thinking I was like, "This might be a little harder to do," but
maybe.
um, actually was not very hard to do. I came up with my list pretty quickly. So
Yeah, I had forgotten to do my list, and you reminded me before we went on air, so I just threw it together in a few minutes. So it didn't actually take me very long to do either. However, I just looking over my list again, I just realized that there is a specific wrestler that's in two of them. So
that's fine.
I'm just going to go with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and one of them is the match that I just now wrote on there
Yeah.
to take out another one because I actually really want to see this match. I'm not sure why. I just really want to see it. But well, let's go ahead and get started. Mine aren't. I mean, I have one that I would say is my number one, but the rest of them could easily be any number. So I'm just going to list mine off, except for my number one. I'll leave that one for last. But why don't you go ahead and get us started?
Sure. I will start off with Hiromu Takahashi versus Bandito. So,
Okay.
um, Hiromu has a history with Lucha Libre. You know, his match style is very Lucha inspired. Bandito, I think, is one of the most exciting luchadors out there. He's interesting because he's not necessarily tied to as other lucha promotions strictly. I believe he's got a AAA connection, but he's also done work with CMLL, and he's also done stuff in New Japan, and the Crash I think is the other like big lucha libre promotion, but it's more of like a independent thing.
Mhm.
um he he's really good. He's the PWG world champion. um and I just think he would have a really good match with Hiromu. Their styles, I think, would be very complementary. I don't know that. I think where Dragon Lee and Hiromu bring out the speed in each other, I think this would bring out the harder hitting side of Hiromu. So I would love to see their styles smash together, preferably in a New Japan ring.
Okay. Um, so I've actually just been rethinking the one I just wrote, and I thought of I was like, man, I'd really like to see this match, but then I thought of, well, wait a minute, what if that particular competitor fought this guy? That would probably be even more fun to watch. Okay, so what I finally came down to on this one is Kevin Owens versus Eddie Kingston.
Ooh.
And I don't think that match has ever happened.
I don't know. I mean, if it did, I've never seen it.
Yeah.
And
Um,
this version of Eddie Kingston is very different from any earlier version. So,
yeah. I think that the two of them together, uh, I mean, not even just the wrestling, but the promos will be great.
yeah.
But the match is just it's gonna be amazing. But just for uh, if you're interested, sake, the first one I had was actually Kevin Owens versus CM Punk.
Well, that was the one you cut.
No, that was the one that I originally like just wrote down,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
and then decided no, Eddie Kingston would probably be a lot more fun in that match. Um,
It looks like they wrestled in 2012 in a Ring of Honor show.
him and CM Punk.
Kingston and Kevin Steen.
Okay.
But everything I I just read seems like it wasn't necessarily like their best match. So,
And I never saw it, so it's probably not something I'm going to go back and watch. But um, to see
that's
them,
also nearly 10 years ago. So,
yeah, to see them together now, I bet it's just. So that would be another reason we really need to get Kevin Owens in AWE or AEW, so that we can see those two battle. Yeah, that's gonna be a lot of fun. Hopefully,
yeah,
it could happen.
it could. It could. I hope it does.
Yeah.
My next pick is going to be Thunder Rosa versus Io Shirai.
Ooh, okay.
Thunder Rosa might be. She was in my top 5 women wrestlers
Yeah.
list that we did, and so was Io. So, like, naturally, I'd want to put these two together. I think they would have a really great match together. Also, I think I looked it up specifically to see that if it was a thing that happened, and there was an article that said Thunder Rosa wants to fight NXT Women's Champion Io Shirai from last year. So I was like, oh, well, clearly she wants this match to happen as well. So it's definitely on her mind. Who knows if we'll ever get that match? Just because, she's still in the WWE. Who she could. I don't know. Vince McMahon might fire her. Who knows? With that company.
Yeah.
But then also because she is a Japanese wrestler, it's you never know what she'll do after, if she'll stay in the States or, go back to Japan. So like Kairi Sane went back to Japan. So I don't know. I don't know what Io would do.
So where's she at now?
Io is in the WWE. I think she's in NXT still.
No, not her. You just said she went back to Japan.
Kairi Sane went back to Japan.
So what is she doing now? Like
nothing.
What do they have for women there? I guess is the question.
There's quite a few promotions. There's a lot of all women's promotions. Stardom is probably the biggest one.
Okay. Because I know New Japan doesn't have it, and
Stardom is owned by Bushi Road, which owns New Japan as well. So there's a little bit of corporate synergy going on there.
Okay.
But there are actually quite a few other women's promotions like Tokyo Joshi Pro, Ice Ribbon, Wave, Diana. There's actually a lot of women's promotions over there.
Okay.
So there'd be a lot for her to do there.
That's a good. Yeah, it's good that she's got somewhere to go.
I mean, she has a history with Stardom, so that's probably where she would wind up back. Yeah. So okay. I could see them working out something though, and trying to get Thunder Rosa a match with her. But
so, man, I had a women's match on my list here, but now I'm wondering if I paired it up right. Yeah, I mean, I'll just go. Yeah, man, I don't know. I'm gonna have to steal from you. I'm gonna have to say Thunder Rosa versus Asuka.
Oh yeah, that would be great. Because Asuka's style kind of matches Thunder Rosa's.
Yeah, she's got a great style, and seeing these two together would be. I bet that would be a really fun match to watch. Originally, I'd put Asuka versus Britt Baker, but now I'm thinking I think Thunder Rosa would be a much better match to watch versus Asuka.
Yeah, I think that match would be really strong and really fun.
Now,
I would like.
That being said, I don't think this match is going to happen because I don't think Asuka is going to leave WWE.
Not anytime soon.
She's another one of those that I just really don't see leaving the company anytime soon.
Yeah.
So this is definitely a match that I don't think we're going to get like in the next couple of years. Probably not.
Yeah.
But
you never know. It could happen one day.
That's why it's called a dream match, you know.
Yeah. All right. My next dream match is Malachi Black versus Shingo Takagi.
Ooh, yeah.
The resident hard-hitting, strong style wrestler of Los Ingobernables against Malachi Black. I think that would just be a brilliant match. They would be so good together. Their styles I think are complementary. They're both very stiff workers,
Yeah.
or visually. I don't think they're known necessarily for being like hard to work with in the ring, but
Yeah.
Black's very unique, you know, style of wrestling. I think would just look really. Shingo has a unique style as well too, so like I think
Yeah.
they would complement each other very very well, and it would just be just a hard hitting match.
Yeah. So the next one on my list, also I think would be a very interesting match, even though these two, I don't think their styles really complement each other too much. Um, but they each have a very interesting style. And so seeing these two styles together could make for a very interesting match. And the two that I'm referring to, and this may have already happened, but I don't think I mean I've never seen it, but I'm referring to Finn Balor and Zack Sabre Jr.
Yeah, I don't know. I wonder if they've ever wrestled each other. It's always possible because I don't know what happened in Europe, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah,
And so, like, there's a chance. But the versions of those guys now are not the same as they would have been pre
right, right.
current.
But with Zach and his kind of submission style, and then Finn with his, I don't know what you call it. Uh, just,
Yeah.
he's just got a very unique style all his own.
Yeah.
Uh, but I think those two, even those two styles kind of clash. That could make for some uh, interesting ring work.
So they wrestled in 2014 for Progress Wrestling, which was a UK wrestling company.
Yeah.
Um,
I've never actually watched any Progress.
no, I haven't either.
I've heard of
And
it, just never watched it. But
the WWE kind of killed it too with the rating the UK scene for
yeah,
NXT.
yeah.
Well, jumping off of that point, I also have a Zack Sabre Jr. dream match,
Okay.
and that would be against Bryan Danielson.
Oh man, that'd be awesome too. See, that's the thing with Zack Sabre Jr. I could think of a lot of matches I'd love to see him in.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure. Like, there's so many people that he would
Because
have really great matches with.
I mean, I heard the name. I had heard the name. Didn't really watch any of his stuff until I started watching the G1
Mm-hmm.
and just really got interested in him. But yeah, that I could totally see that match. That would be amazing.
So they apparently did wrestle in 2008 and in 2009, one in Germany and one in England, I believe. But
Again,
2009, Bryan Danielson is not the same as 2021,
mm,
and
yeah,
especially Zack Sabre Jr. So
yeah.
I think their styles would it'll be an amazing match. There is also the connection of Bryan Danielson. He was on commentary when Zack Sabre Jr. was part of the Cruiserweight Classic in the WWE, and
Oh, he was.
so there's like a little thread there that you could even tug at if you wanted to. By the way, Kota Ibushi was in that tournament too, which is just so weird to think about. Still, they had
Huh.
Kota Ibushi and Zack Sabre Jr., and neither one of them signed with the company. So,
It's probably a good thing. But
oh right, yeah,
yeah. Oh wow. Yeah. Danielson and Zack Sabre. That'd be great.
yeah.
Um, my next one. There's a very strong chance this has been done before, but I've never seen it. So I want to see a match between Okada and AJ Styles.
Yeah, there's probably a strong chance that's happened considering they were in New Japan at the same time. So,
Yeah,
but
I'm almost certain there was.
yeah,
I've never seen it, and
probably a G1.
to see it now, uh, or at least for me, like see this match in AJ's prime when he and maybe not his prime, but like right after he came to WWE, because I think he did some of his best work then.
Yeah, it
At least from
looks
what I saw. But
they wrestled for the IWGP Heavyweight Championship in
not
2015.
surprising. Not surprising at
Yeah,
all.
which was right before he came to the WWE. It'd be a nice if he ever was like going on a farewell tour away from the WWE, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
a nice little goodbye match, to have.
Yeah.
And my very last pick will be Minoru Suzuki versus Samoa Joe.
Oh man.
I just want to see those two slap the hell out of each other.
That would be awesome. I didn't even think to put Samoa Joe on my list
Yeah.
because I can think of
Yeah.
a bunch of matches I'd like to see him in too. Damn.
Yeah, it's just like I think their two styles are just like these very like I'd say Joe's probably the more acrobatic of the two, which is funny to
Sure.
think about.
Yeah, I can see it though. I know what you mean.
He also has his hard hitting side. He wrestled for Noah as well with Kenta at that time period. So, he can do a stiff, match where it's really a lot of just trading blows back and forth. And it's one of
Yeah.
those matches too that you just want to see their dynamics and their personalities, how they play out in the ring, because those guys both have very strong in-ring personalities.
Oh
So
yeah. Yeah.
I
Sure.
hope Joe I hope Joe can get away from the WWE and you know
Yeah.
get his run of dream matches before he decides to call it a day.
Yeah. Yeah. I hope he goes somewhere else.
Yeah.
um. So my actually, before I do my number one, I'm going to let you know. I'll just call it we'll just call it an honorable mention. It was the one that I erased in the middle of the show. Um, and this was actually we were talking about it earlier, and I was asking if tag matches could be
Yeah.
counted. So I did have a tag match on here, and that's the one that lost its place when I thought of Kevin Owens. So I put okay. So this is a little bit odd, but bear with me. I put Best Friends versus New Day, and the reason being, I would really like to see the dynamic of uh, specifically Big E and Kofi Kingston against Orange Cassidy and Chuck Taylor.
I didn't mention this in our little dynamite section we were talking about, but there was a little backstage segment with Bobby Fish and Adam Cole where the best friends came in, and it just reminded me. I was just like, we need more Chuck Taylor, you know,
Yeah,
promos, backstage, dialogue, because that guy is funny.
yeah. So yeah, just I mean, not even necessarily the wrestling portion of the match. I would just like to see those two teams in a ring together.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, I just think it'd be funny. But my actual number one, and this match probably has happened. Maybe, I don't know. Uh, if it hasn't, it needs to happen. But it's actually been hinted at even in the past couple of weeks, and I am referring to CM Punk versus Kenta.
Oh yeah. Yeah, these. Well, yeah, because they did. He hinted at it. Kenta called out CM Punk.
He did. He said he's going to make him go to sleep.
Did they wrestle in Ring of Honor? They probably did.
I don't know.
I wouldn't be surprised if they did. But also, a new revitalized CM Punk, a return to, wrestling.
And this heel Kenta.
Yeah. I'm trying to see if they've ever had a match, and everything I pull up just keeps showing that he's called him out.
Yeah. I don't know.
Apparently, Kenta really hates CM Punk. Is like the story.
Yeah. Because I mean, in if you want to call it in real life or whatever, I think they're actually good friends.
Yeah, I mean, they both do the go to sleep.
I think at one time, if I'm remembering this correctly, I think at one time, CM Punk actually said that Hideo Itami was his favorite wrestler.
So, God,
and we're talking. I mean, we're talking
wrestled?
years ago. So, I don't know. I can't think of any time that I've actually seen them because I don't know if they've ever crossed paths in a promotion.
I think that's the thing. They've just not been in the same company at the same time.
Right.
And as far as I can tell, it doesn't look like they've ever had a match.
So there's my number one dream match.
Yeah. Well, we did it.
We did.
That was our top 5.
Yep.
Thank you, everyone, for listening.
Absolutely. Be back more next week for some more Dynamite and Rampage discussion, as well as whatever else we end up watching. I'm going to try to watch. I'm going to try to watch some of those matches you mentioned in the World Tag League and Super Juniors.
Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can hunt down that AAA.
Oh, the AAA. Yeah, that's what I want to try to watch.
That'll be next Saturday. So.
Yeah. So, oh man. So I don't know if we're going to be able to do a show about that unless we.
We'll see. Yeah.
Unless we watch it on Sunday.
Right before we record. Yeah.
Yeah.
But we'll figure that out as the week goes on.
Yep.
But thank you, everyone, for listening, and hope everyone has a good week.
Yep. Take care.